My name is Hannah Jones, and I was born at number 51 Erland Avenue, East Ham, E6, and I was born on the 3rd of the 8th, 1927. My dad's name was Bernard Cleary. My mum's name was Edith Mary Cleary, and my eldest brother was Thomas. My next brother was John, but there was Davison. Their name was Davison because my mum had been married when she was 16. She was a widow when she was 18. Her first husband got killed in the First World War. Left her with 2 children when she was 18. Then she married my dad, and then they had my sister Ethel and my brother Frederick, my brother James, then me, Hannah, and then there was Patrick, and then Georgie. Well, my mum was always helping other people out, always looking after other people. She used to take him washing, and she used to take the washing in, do the washing on the Monday. She used to pawn it on the Tuesday, and then go and get it out to give it back to the people on the Thursday or Friday. My dad, he was invalided out of the First World War. He got his arm blown up. He had no ball or socket in his right arm. But in them days, they couldn't operate, couldn't put a new shoulder in. They could now, but they couldn't then. And they invalided him out of the army. He went to the Royal Arsenal for a job, to see if he could get a job. They told him they could only pay him a half a wage because he was only half a man. Yeah, she was hanging the washing out one day, and she thought it was a gnat that went onto her foot, and she killed it on her foot, and her foot started to swell up, and she couldn't get her shoes on. She went to the doctors with it, and they said that it was a foreign insect bite. They think it came over on a banana boat because we lived near the docks. And she had killed it, and the poison had gone into the foot, and it travelled all up her leg. That's when she got the hepatitis. She went in the hospital because it got that bad that they were going to amputate the leg. She went into hospital, and it was the year before the war broke out. And they couldn't do it, they had to send her home because they had to get things ready because they thought of the war. So she didn't have it amputated then, but she had it done after the war. When the war started, they took her in and she had it amputated. My mum went back into hospital to have her leg amputated. My dad was already in the hospital, and so myself and my one brother, Jim, James, he was 18 months older than me, and one of my little brothers, he was about 18 months old. We had to go into Aldersbrook. That was over at Wanstead. First of all, they took us to the workhouse. We had to go and that was in Langthorne House at Lakestone. And there they took us to the Aldersbrook homes. But they found out that we were Catholics, and so they separated us. They said I went to Walthamstow with my youngest brother, and my other brother that was older than me, he went to St Charles. I think we wasn't happy there at all. Anyway, when my mum came out, they sent her out of hospital. She had to go back the following week, but when my dad came out, the neighbours came and took us and got us out, brought us home. When she went back in to have her leg amputated, I was 15 then, and they wanted to put us back in the homes because she'd got my youngest brother then, our Georgie, and I refused. I said, no, they're not going in. So I stayed home. I gave my job up at Hitchens. I stayed home and looked after the two little ones. And so while I was keeping house, I had to pack my job up, so I didn't have a job. And the neighbours took me round to the relieving officer, which used to be called the RO, and that was down at Harrigan Road, East Ham. I went in and they asked what a big fat strapping girl like me was doing there, trying to get money out of them. And when I explained to them about my mum and dad being in hospital when I needed the money, they said they'd send somebody round. A couple of days after, I went down to the shop. We had a little corner shop on the corner of the road, and I got a pennyworth of jam, because you could go and buy a pennyworth of jam, you could buy a pennyworth of cheese, you know, in them days. And I took it back home, and this man came, knocked at the door, he came walking in, he asked me where my larder was. I said, I didn't have a larder. He said, where'd you keep your food? I said, in the food cupboard. He had a look in there. He said, I don't know what you've come round once enough of us for, he said. He said, you've got a luxury there, you've got some jam. And off he went, and he walked. So then I got myself a cleaning job at 4 o'clock in the morning. One used to be called Brent's, and then across the road was Partridge. We used to do brides' dresses, and I got a cleaner's job in there. I used to get ½ a crown for doing one and 2 shillings for doing the other. That's what kept us going. I went with Carol Levis and Hughie Green. They used to do the talent competition. And I won one first of all. Then they put me on to the next one. Then that one put me on to the next one. And then I used to go around the working men's clubs, you know, singing. And they changed my name to Nancy Ray. They had Nancy Ray, the girl with the golden voice. And I've still got the card actually. I got married, I was married then, and I had the three boys. Bob was only a baby. And they were doing a show, I think it was I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire, because Izzy Bond was in it, Izzy Bond done it. And they wanted me to sign up to go in it, and but he was going travelling round to different places, you know, like Coventry, Birmingham, before it came to London. And my husband said to me, I said to him, why don't you come with me, bring the 3 boys, we'll get a place there, you know, rent a place, and we can save enough money to buy our own house. He said, no, I'm not living off of your money, he said, off of your earnings. And he wouldn't come, so I gave it up. I just give it up, and I just used to go around the club singing. I had a manager, Bert Veer, he was my manager. And I sang with Eric Jackson and his band, but that was only in the working men's clubs. Well, I hadn't been going out because I was doing housework, although my mum was out of hospital by then. And my aunt, my mum's sister, lived next door to us in number 49. She came into my mum and she said, we want to take Nancy up to the working men's club tonight. She said, is it all right if we take her? So my mum said, yeah, all right, not to, you know, she didn't really want me to go, but I went. And when I got there, they were saying to me, get up and give us a song, Nance. Get up and give us a song. No, I said, anyway, in the finish I got up and I sang. And they asked for some more, for another song. And I sang, May I Call You Sweetheart, what a lovely name. All my life, my love for you will always be the same. And my husband, I said, I didn't know him then, he was standing at the back of the hall and he was saying, oh, me, yeah, me, yeah. And he put his finger up, put his thumb up. When I got down, he came over to me, so he said, you can have the best drink in the house, what do you want? So I said, I don't drink. No, he said, have a gin and tonic. I said, no, thank you. I said, I'm going to give you thank you for it. So she said, what do you want then? So I said, a lemonade. And then when it was over and I finished, we were coming home, and my young cousin, Sylvie, she told me, she said, you live down that road, don't you, Arthur? So he said, yeah, he said, but I'm taking your aunt home. It's not my aunt, it's my cousin. And he walked home with me. He walked home. My aunt said to me, I think you found yourself a boyfriend. I said, well, I don't want him. I said, he's old enough to be my grandfather. I don't, going out with him. So anyway, when we got home, she asked my mum if he could come in. So he came in and had a cup of tea. He said, I'm not going till you might tell me that you'll come out with me next Sunday, I think it was, to the Edmonton Club. He said, they've got to do it. So just to get rid of him, I said, yeah, okay, I'll come. But I knew I wouldn't be able to go. I never had a coat to wear. Didn't have nothing to, thing to wear. So anyway, when my uncle came in on the Sunday afternoon, he told me, he said, oh, that young fellow, he said, he was waiting at the door to come in to get your ticket for next week. Anyway, I did go on it, but I had to borrow a coat off of my friend down the road, because I never had a decent coat to wear. And anyway, got in the coach and we went, and then they got me to get up and sing there at the show. And then when we was coming home, got in the car, and this is Mrs. Metcalf's, their name was, Mr. and Mrs. Metcalf. They said to me, Arthur, well, come on, Arthur, you've been with her all night, introduce us to your wife. You haven't told us about your wife yet. Oh, he said, she's not my wife yet, he said, but it won't be long. And I thought, yeah, you'd be lucky. And that's how it all started. Yeah, the reason that he looked so old and thin was because he'd just been repatriated as a prisoner of war. He was in the Air Force and his plane got shot there. He was a prisoner of war in Singapore. But, and he'd just been just come home. That's why he looked so old and that. Although he was 13 years older than me, but he looked a lot older than that. And, but he never gave up, he carried on. He was a beautiful dancer, ballroom dancer. I used to love doing ballroom dancing. In fact, he taught me how to dance, and we all used to dance together. The first week that we was married, he came home with a bunch, on the Friday, he came home with a bunch of flowers for me, and he said, open your arms, close your eyes and see what Arthur's brought you. And he put this beautiful bouquet of flowers on me, and it was really lovely. And every Friday from then on, he used to bring me a bouquet, a bunch of flowers. And it went on for years and years, because I've got the 3 children then. And he came in one day, and I think, because we never used to really argue, we used to sit down and talk our way through. And he came in, I must have been a bit upset, the kids must have upset me or something. He came in and he said, open your arms, he said, close your eyes and see what Arthur's got. Oh, I said, come on, flowers again. And he put me, and his face dropped, when I looked, there was the flowers. The following week, he came in, and I thought, I mustn't upset him. So he said, open your arms, put your arms out and close your eyes and see what Arthur's brought you. So I said, yeah, flowers again. When I opened my eyes, there was a big bunch of spring onions. I looked at them, I said, they're not flowers, they're onions. Yeah, we got married on the 7th of January 1950. Got married at Emsworth. We've been married for 36 years. We were very happy together. And he wouldn't go outside the door without me. He wouldn't go around to get a packet of tobacco unless I was with him. I had to hold his hand to go with him. So wherever we went, on all our photos, you'll see us holding hands. Never held one another's arms, we always held hands.